Mesh is without a doubt one of the favorite plays of all air raid Mike Leach disciples, but is it still relevant and work in today's college football and NFL? And we're going to look at a lot of clips, a lot of different reasons why I think it is still relevant, and some reasons why some people maybe give it a bad rap. We have right around 140 clips from this past college football season, and we're going to look at why it's effective, and I think it's obviously good to look into how the play works and what it's great against. We're going down to the looks from some of the best college football offenses from this past year and learn a little bit more about mesh. All of the best offenses use mesh, whether it was Michigan with the heavy sets, whether it's Ohio State won the national championship this past year, Alabama even before Kellen DeBoer running a lot of mesh. So basically all the best offenses are still running mesh. Sark's made it a big deal at Texas, obviously at Alabama before then. The very first thing that I look at for any concept is how often are you getting the first or second read thrown. If you're having to get to number 3, number 4, number 5 in your progression, that's not a great call. So on mesh, we're looking for the first couple reads to see if this is a efficient play, and if a lot of teams are able to hit that first or second read. Even when you're calling plays as an offensive coordinator, if you're not hitting that first or second read and having to get to 3, 4, 5, a lot of times that protection not going to hold up. So to me, that's a bad call if you're having to get to 3+. The defense has a say with everything as well. They could get a great call for whatever route you have, but if you're consistently having to get to number 3, 4 in your progression, it's probably not a great call. Just a real quick overview of how you might read this mesh route. And this is kind of the base right here. This is how Sark would draw it up at a 3x1 set. But if you free release this back, so you get a 5-man pro, you got to start your eyes there, because if this guy blitzes right here, you're going to be hot. So here, if you free release the back, you go 1 to the wheel, obviously blitz, you can get the ball out, or if he goes over the top, give it to the back. So it'd be 1 to the back, 2 to the mesh, 3 to the pyramid right here, and you may get to the backside. That's probably pretty rare though, but right there would be 1, 2, 3, and that's how Sark would want to teach it. And of course, if you're going to 6-man pro, keeping the back in. Now, of course, you could have a double read depending on what you want to do here as far as protection, but right here, if you leave the back in, check swing them, and instead of starting with the back, you're going to start here to the field with this 6-step out. Just kind of the way that it's been done in the air raid concepts. It's how they did it with Mike Leach and Hal Mummy. So a 6-step out, this could end up being a corner depending on how this corner plays it, but this is just being rhythm out. So probably a quick 3, 1, 2, 3, get this ball out, 6 steps, boom, throw him away if he's open. If not, we're going to go 1 to the out, 2 to the mesh, 3 to the pyramid. You may get down here to either one of these meshes. Of course, a check swing there, possibly getting 5 out, especially if everybody's condensed to the middle of the field. Could be a chance to check swing that thing and get a big play as well. But again, whenever we talk about efficiency, if you can get it out in the first 2, in the progression to the first 2 routes where you're going, that's what you want to do. And right here would be the out to the mesh, and then third would be that pyramid, but you were hoping to get this thing out to one of the first 2 to be an efficient play. The first play we're going to look at right here from Miami, Cam Ward. Check swing here from the back, free release here, and quarterback that says it's coming down here. It's just a twin set. They're meshing here, and you've got a 6-step out here. Can't see the receiver, but he's out there, so it'd be 1 to the out, 2 right there to the mesh, and then you got this check swing or wherever you go. I'm not real sure. There's not a pyramid there. But here on this one, again, it's a rhythm 3. 1, 2, 3. Ball gets out, and this is a heck of a throw. I probably wouldn't force this to a high school quarterback, but right there from the far hash, 1, 2, 3. Ball's out, 6-step out all the way to the ticks almost. Great throw. I mean, it's one of those, if you got space and you got arm talent, you can make this throw. And of course, Cam Ward, this to me is one of the best throws maybe of the year. Again, rhythm 3. He likes the first read. Rip it to him. If you don't like the out, and of course, if your guy's not able to throw it, he's working across that check swings, widening this defender. There's the guy man-to-man on that single receiver going over the top of everything. So there would be your second read. Getting the ball out there as well. Another look here from Miami. A little bit of motion. And this is on the red zone goal line area. So this is pretty rare to me that you're going to be able to get this 6-step out. Corner playing way off. Again, looking at the guy up top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Speed cutting it. And of course, Cam Ward seeing the corner giving a little bit of space, just throws that front pylon. Of course, cannon for an arm, rips it out there. Easy throw and catch right there for a touchdown. Again, rhythm out. And on this look here, you've got mesh, and he's outside releasing. He's going to that basic or that pyramid. So 6-step out. There's your look right there. So 1, 2 to the crosser, 3 to the middle. And of course, you can take the number one thing, be efficient. Never go broke taking a profit right there. End up throwing it for an easy touchdown on the 6-step out. This one to me, I'm not sure if he's check willing or if he's free release, but here on this one, they like this off corner. They go 6-step out. You're meshing here. He's going right there to the sit. And quarterback looks up here up top first. 1, 2, 3, 4. To me, he cuts out a little bit short on that. Right here, is still able to get this thing out. This is against Western Kentucky. Corner a little bit scared to get beat deep. So right there, easy throw and catch. Even though that thing is late. I think it's late because he didn't go one more rotation with his step. Should have gone 6 steps. But I said 1, 2, 3, 4. Quarterback's a little bit late because he cuts the route short. And again, not just tight coverage, but right there, easy throw and catch. first read, and of course second read as you're getting down, you find these meshes underneath. You got your tight end coming across, he's getting the mesh, and either way I think you can get a completion. There's your pyramid sitting in the middle of the field. A little bit of motion here from Michigan, of course using a lot of bigger bodies, some tight ends moving them around. Here's your mesh, you get a 6-step out here by the inside receiver that gets stacked up, and on this one they just like the number 1 guy that's running the out route. Again, be efficient. This is on 3rd and 8. Don't like the footwork, obviously he's just drifting back. You are getting a little bit of pressure, but right there he likes it, rips it to him on that out route, get a completion. A little bit tight coverage against man-to-man, so this is a great route. If you went on out route, give it to him. If not, now you got this little bit of a rub, man-to-man guys going over the top. You got a chance for number 2 right there to get the first down as well there on 3rd and 8. Another long throw here, and of course Dylan Gabriel, another guy, of course 6-step out here to the field. Here's your meshes, there's your sit, back's getting out, so I guess they're not worried about that backside blitz to the running back. But right there again, as you're looking at this corner here, giving lots of ground. So right there, Dylan likes it. If he doesn't just drop hard underneath it, we can throw this out, and that's what he does right here again. 1, 2, 3, feeding the ground. As soon as he makes that cut, ball's getting out. Great strong throw again from the far hash, outside the numbers. Not quite the arm strength that Cam Ward has, not quite the accuracy either. But right there, that's the difference between number 1 overall pick and a 3rd rounder. But right there again, great anticipation. Throw him in space. Corners give him lots of ground. Make this guy get out of there. So now you can work this mesh against this inside linebacker as opposed to having a guy making that kind of jumbled up. So right there, great job. Make the defense stretch horizontally. Good catch there by the wide receiver as well. Getting a decent gain there against Purdue. So we saw the first completion there, throwing that 6-step out. Now we're going to look at a bunch of ways they got the back in different ways, maybe even fullbacks into this first read. On this one, you just got an arrow here out of the backfield, 2-back set. They're running mesh. You got your pyramid. There's your number 2 coming across. So right there, if you can get to the back, if you think this is man-to-man, maybe you get matched up on a linebacker and feel good about it. And that's what they end up doing right here. This linebacker does great up sorting through it. Would love to go at his face mask, make him go over the top a little bit so you have more space. But right there, he splits it, plays underneath. Not the most accurate football. Of course, he has to slow down, make the play, and tackles him short of the line right there on 3rd and 3. But right there, you can see what they're trying to do. Slip that back out, get a good rub. And of course, if you don't like this back, maybe he plays even tighter to it. Now you got 2 working across here on that mesh who has a chance there as well to get the first down. This is one a little bit of tear motion here out of the backfield, and he just runs a vertical or a wheel to the outside. And here's a linebacker. They knew as soon as that guy left the box right here with the Mike linebacker, they felt great about it. He turns down the sideline, and he was going way too flat, not going over the top. So they just lay it up there. No safety help on this one for the linebacker. And of course right here, just a good throw and catch. Pretty tight coverage, a lot better coverage than you would think right there from that linebacker. But right there, able to make a big play for Alabama. Again, there's your first read. If you like it, take it. Now, if you don't, there's number 2. Doing it against Alabama. I think they had seen that film from South Florida. This is basically the same look. You get these guys working in. He splits it again, going underneath. And now they're throwing it to the running back there, number 1. He's a little bit slower to get to it. Seeing it out of the backfield this time against Wisconsin. He hesitates just enough right there. Easy throw and catch. Get the ball into space. And I think this is a little bit of a mix-up. It looks like linebacker's trying to play a little bit of zone. Everybody else is trying to play a little bit of man, or at least that corner is. And a little bit late. And that linebacker's late to it, so they get an easy completion. Ends up being a first down right there on 2nd and 9. This is a really big play in this Kansas State-Colorado game. You got a little bit of motion here. He's going to the mesh. He's working the pyramid, and the back swings out. So that just a little bit of motion got eyes into the backfield, and it held them for just a little bit as they're working across. So they lost sight of this running back here that slips out to the wheel. Everybody else is condensing, following those receivers coming inside. Not great eye discipline here by those DBs. Probably more so a linebacker. Once he sees him cross his face, he should be manned up with that running back, and he doesn't see that, especially that safety rolling down. So they get an easy completion here. This is with Colorado up by 4 with about 3 minutes left in the game. So this is a huge play, big completion, explosive play right there on that. Of course, anytime you use a little bit of motion, that's going to hold those linebackers a lot of times. If they're not quite as disciplined with their eyes, that's what happens on this one. Linebacker just loses them. Man, this is a huge play in Colorado season and Kansas State season on just simple mesh. And of course, if you wouldn't like that wheel, you got pretty tight coverage right here. And the guy falling right there on the second option for Kansas State. Another great way to get the back involved, and this time we're crossing here. Everybody's going to the mesh this time, 3-by-1. Really trying to slip that guy. Understand that that guy's probably manned up. And if you look at this pre-snap, pretty obvious here from A&M. You're going to get a blitz here based on how tight he is. You're not going to stack those guys up unless he's blitzing. So we're going to blitz here. You're going to slip this back here. Everybody else, they know it's man-to-man. This is the only guy that can guard him. Got a 1 high safety here. Make that guy go over the top. That's what happens right there. They run right into him. Good job acting like you're trying to avoid him. Now nobody's left right there. Safety's the only guy that can even come close to making a play on Mississippi State running back that slipped. Right there, easy walk in. Again, find the man-to-man, basically block the guy, which is fine right here if they were blocking because they're catching behind the line of scrimmage. Brought the back from the opposite side. Easy touchdown there from Mississippi State. Again, every team in the country is running this. This is Illinois now. Of course, a little bit more tight end, pro personnel type stuff. Motion across. He ends up being number 1. It's the fullback going to the flats. And, of course, if you wouldn't like that, now you're to number 2, working across. There's your mesh, and you got your pyramid here. But wide open there in the flats. Who was supposed to take them? Probably this outside linebacker who got held up on that guy going to the pyramid. Easy throw and catch right here for a touchdown against one of the better defenses in the country. This is a really interesting look here as well. They motion over into a bunch, and the guy that's manned up on him, I guess, is this deep safety. The only other way that they could man up right here is with this linebacker who's basically a zero backer to me. And everybody else goes man-to-man. Safety plays over the top. Nobody goes with them. So this is a great design here from Purdue. And, of course, this tight end is actually a dog. I think he ended up at Ohio State. Right there just running a quick wheel. There's a safety trying to roll over the top, play that tight end. No chance. So this is a really interesting look. Again, they motion to a bunch. There's your wheel against man-to-man. If you like it, take it. If not, now you got these guys working across. There's your sit. Just another way to do it with 6-man pro. This time out of bunch. So with all those clips, really we had 136 total clips, and they threw the first read 29 times. That's 21%, not just a huge percentage, but really that first read and mesh is typically going to be one of those where somebody busts to get it open, and then you want to try to get down to that second read pretty quickly if it's not wide open. So 21% to me on the first read on mesh isn't bad. And again, that's 6-step out or the running back releasing. So pretty decent number right there, 21%. Or you're going to hit the first read on mesh is what we have from our clip. They're going to look at some clips from getting to the second read, which is obviously you get off the back, you get off the 6-step out, and you throw the mesh, which the mesh is obviously a high percentage throw, short throw. It can beat man, can beat zone depending on how you teach it. But right here, again, read starts here to the back, doesn't like it. So right there, you get underneath. Here's your mesh coming across. And again, what he does is he stutters just a little bit and he goes flat. And this guy knows, hey, I got to get my guy open. If you watch what he does, he's the guy that's actually trying to get him open. So he jabs at the defender that's playing man-to-man. 1, don't like it. 2, find your mesh. This is on 4th and 2 against Alabama. And right there, just an easy throw and catch. Again, that's probably maybe 10 yards in the air. Good pace on the ball, easy throw and catch. Get vertical, get the first down. That's what they do right there. Again, get to the second option. Easy completion, first down, 4th and 2. Here's your look here of offensive juggernaut Iowa getting into this mesh craze. They run a little bit of mesh. Again, there's your pyramid coming across. There's your number 1 read looking to the tight end that motion out. There's number 2 working across. That's what they hit right here. So Ohio State, he's walling a little bit. He crosses his face. He slides in with him just enough, and they end up throwing this mesh into that window. Good accurate throw on his upfield shoulder, allowing him to run with it. Gets the first down right there on a 3rd and 6. Again, second read. 1, don't like that vertical or wheel there by the guy that motion out. Find your mesh. There it is. Easy throw and catch. About 10 yards there against Ohio State. They're going to get into Ohio State even running. Of course, national champs. He's meshing right here. He's going vertical to this sit. He's the guy that's meshing. So really, if you watch this rub here from this number 3 receiver, he goes vertical, but he also knows, hey, I got to try to get my guy open. That guy's manned up. And he pushes this thing vertical into him, makes him go way over the top. There's nobody there really for him to rub and allow that guy to get open, so he just keeps rolling. He'd have to go way deeper and try to make him even go all the way to about 10, 15 yards deep. But right there, easy again. Back's getting out of the backfield. Running back or outside linebacker peels with it here with his 3 front. So right there, outside linebacker peels with that back that's willing. There's number 2 coming across. Again, this is on 3rd down. This is on 3rd and 6. A little bit of movement there in the pocket. Easy throw and catch. It's about 7 against pretty good defense there in Oregon for a first down late in the game. This is in the 4th quarter with about a minute left. And what was it? What ended up being a really good game. Here's a look. Arkansas, obviously, did some decent things on offense by Petrino. Motion across. Anytime you can motion, which is what happens right here, it seems like the linebacker loses sight of what's going on. They end up bumping this off, and they're still in man, so he doesn't see or understand that he's got this fullback now. They're meshing there. The back gets out first, so they end up running with them. And right there, the end peels. When they mesh, this corner goes across. This linebacker hesitates just a little bit. He hesitates whether it's zone or man, and they leave the tight end wide open on that second read. Again, running back takes off. Outside linebacker runs with them. Find your number 2 option, even against a really good defense. Just a little bit of movement like what Arkansas does right here. From twins to the boundary to twins to the field, and they run that mesh out of the backfield with the tight end. Gets a guy wide open. Here's a look here. Just a really good look. 2x2 against Texas with a tight end here. There's your mesh guy working across, and he ends up actually pretty much blocking the guy that's manned up on him. He's chasing pretty hard. There's already quite a bit of space, but he does a great job. He gets up vertical to him. Probably got a good chance to get that called. Just basically, because that looks like a block, I'd probably just have him slip that guy. But right there, easy throw and catch. About a yard past the line of scrimmage, so that'd be an issue. You have to get all the way back to the line of scrimmage and turn that into like a shallow screen, which Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma used to run a ton of. But right there, again, easy throw and catch. A little bit of rub. Great job giving a little bit of ground here by Klubnik. Right there, only about 5-man pressure, but they are getting the edge right there, so he just keeps giving ground. Dumps it down, easy throw and catch again. It's only 10 yards in the air, and let your guy do the work after that. And he ends up outrunning everybody for a touchdown here for Clemson. Obviously in the playoffs against Texas. Another great look. Jeff Levy right here, motion in extremely hard. You got to the flats. Man-to-man, obviously, cover one here. Think they're going to bring a little bit of heat, and they do a great job of getting the rub they want. So the rub they want right here, he actually goes vertical for a couple steps, and then he works across. He with that motion knows, hey, I'm working man-to-man here. And Ole Miss just gives it away knowing that it's man-to-man, makes him run underneath. And once he runs underneath right there, it's a foot race and no chance right there. Again, really good setup. And great job playing fast. Mississippi State ends up getting to the end zone again against a good defense. It's on a 4th and 7, and they just gave it away right here. Easy read as far as being a cover one. You just got to be able to get this ball out on time, and that's what they're able to do right here before they get sacked. And again, it turns to a foot race. Mississippi State ends up winning this one against a really good defense. Another great thing about mesh, and I do say that this is getting down to the second option, but the great thing about mesh is you've got check downs whether you get out of the pocket to the right, left. It doesn't matter. You've always got a guy working horizontally with you underneath that can make your job easy. We're going to look at a couple clips of some quarterbacks making this happen. And right here on this one, obviously Jen Milroe, guy that with his legs last year, created a lot of trouble. And right here, if you're looking at it, the back gets out. There's 1 to the back, 2 to the mesh. They end up switching this off. Looks like they play a little bit of zone. So there's really not much there. They do a great job. They sit on the pyramid as well. But Milroe steps up, and he keeps his eyes downfield. Once they converge to him, he flips it out there to the mesh. So again, that's the great thing, beauty about the mesh. You do have options all over the field. You got guys in the middle of the field sitting for if you step up vertically. And then you've got guys on the horizontal edges as well that can work with the quarterback, whether he gets out to the strong side or weak side. Right on this one ends up being a big play for Alabama. Again, getting the ball in space. I mean, that's all it's about. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just understanding and giving those guys opportunities to break arm tackles by those DBs. Here's another look, and I had this one here because obviously the quarterback's looking here. The back releases, looking there, it's on 3rd and 5, so there'd be 1, 2. You got a pyramid here, probably a post over the top as well. But right here, gets pressured to the strong side, so it ends up going to the weak side. And the beauty of it, you've got a tight end over here that's working across. He ends up sitting down, and they're able to find him right there for the first down. So again, if you even get out to the backside, which is what happens right here with the quarterback, you still got options. And great read there by that receiver tight end, just filling that open space, and then get him the ball there for a first down. So really like it as far as if you have a guy that can get out of the pocket and make plays. It gives him a lot of options to be a ball player and escape either side, to the strong side or weak side. Here's a look here of a little bit of mix-up in protection. They leave a D in. You do have a guy free releasing, but he's not hot because this linebacker drops to it. Should probably be sitting there with the tackle. But it's a mix-up. Gabriel has to get out there to the strong side again. Mesh. These guys are working across. You got a pyramid here as well. But right here, again, he gets out. And, of course, you got guys working. So either way, if he would have got out strong, weak, you got guys working with the quarterback. Gives him an option either to throw the ball or, push the line of scrimmage, maybe run it, or even throw it away at their feet. So right there again, this is on a 2nd and 7. Got a guy free, but you got a guy that can create in the backfield. And of course, you give them options right there because you got guys working with them, run away from man-to-man. Easy throw and catch right there on a 2nd and 7, getting a first down there for Oregon. So now we looked at first and second read for the mesh, and right here again, 136 clips. This time we saw him throw to the mesh 46 times, so that's a pretty good number, 34%, which is quite a bit higher than obviously the 21% from the first read. So with the first and second read, you're getting 55% there, and of course you got the pyramid route, and we'll look at some of those next. But 55% for the first and second read, I don't know if that's just a huge percentage. Of course, I'd like to be a lot higher than that, get it out, somewhere around 70% to the first or second read, and only have to get deeper into my progression, 30% of the time or less for it to be an efficient play. So right here on this one, I think it's a little bit inefficient because you're not getting to those first couple reads. Don't really look at the middle of the field route, whether it's a dig, whether it's a sit, whatever it is. I feel like back maybe 3 or 4 years ago, they're hitting this route a lot more than they did this past year. Only had 9 clips of it, but we'll look at them. Whenever they do hit this, it's really pretty. But again, looks like he's looking to the back here first. There's number 2. They don't like it. And of course, everybody's sitting here in the flats. They end up switching these off just fine. Now they get to the middle field. There is a linebacker sitting there, but Milroe steps up and he kind of loses that pyramid or the sit, and he just throws it to him. He splits the safeties and ends up scoring right there for Alabama. So again, 1 to the back, 2 to the mesh, find the sit route, and he's able to work that window, not staying covered behind that linebacker. Another good look here, running mesh out of 2-back set. Both backs are releasing. There's your mesh. There's your guy that's working the sit. And this is against Indiana, a pretty good football team. And Dylan Raiola fits this one here. They're playing zone coverage. And this is a tight window that he throws this thing through. So right here, really good play. And again, they're reading that off flat route. So right there, they're probably sitting in these windows, trying to get to this window and sit as they're stretching the defense. And that guy's trying to work this window here. But right there, not just a ton of space. This guy sits probably a little bit early. I'd say that guy probably needs to get out there to the hash as well to stretch these guys a little bit more. But right there, Raiola steps through. He's able to drill it right between those backers. It's a really tight window. but ends up being a big completion right there on that sit route. Here's a look from Penn State. Might be the first time we saw Penn State in this breakdown so far, but of course they did a ton of great stuff schematically last year. Of course, you got the mesh. You're keeping the back in, so you're probably looking here for 6-step out. You got mesh working across there by probably the best player on the field, that tight end, Tyler Warren. Can't believe he went to the Colts. But either way, right there, these guys are sitting low. You see those guys driving it. You got a safety over the top. He sits right behind him into that window right in the middle of the field, right over the center. And really good read. Just a little bit of movement here by Drew Aller, just sliding back just a little bit and just drills it through the window. Really easy throw and catch. Safety's driving down. That's fine. If we can make him miss, turn it even bigger play. But right there, great read, great time on that, good throw and catch. Ended up getting a first down here on 1st and 10. This was probably the cleanest look of it that we had all year. This wasn't thrown nearly as much as I thought it was, and I know that it was thrown quite a bit more in the years past. Again, here's the total for the first, second, third read: 21%, 34%, 9%, so 64% total. What happened to the other 36%? A lot of different things happened, but we'll jump right in. Probably not going to look at a ton of clips. We're just going to talk about it a little bit. So with mesh, we had the first, second, third option equaled 64%. Were they able to throw that in the clips we had? And the extra 36% was broken down by this. They hit a check down one time. It looked like the back just checked out into the box. They checked it down. They were sacked 13 times and scrambled 13 times. So that's 26% of the remaining 36 was either a sack or a scramble. So basically, depending on if your quarterback's elusive or not, is really the issue here. Can you get away? Can you make that second play where everything's not exactly right and keep it from being a sack and being able to get a positive gain? Of course, we already looked at some of the clips where you could scramble out and hit those meshes on either side. We had 1.4% were interceptions, 2.9%. They hit a post. They tagged the post either through it or hit it. We had a couple where they just threw it up against 2-on-2 and got batted down. So not just a ton of times people were throwing the post on mesh. And then 2.2% of the time had a throwaway. So right there, another way that it'd be kind of like a sack or a scramble or something along those lines. So really 28% of what was remaining were off schedule plays. We'll take a look at a few of them right here. I have this clip on here because it's just a different way to run it. Right here, Florida State is trying to run it out of empty and trying to get way too cute, doing way too much pre-snap. This is on 4th and 4, so they think it's one of those things that, oh, we got this, man. We're about to absolutely torch these guys. Think it's man-to-man. They bring this guy in, they set him a little bit, and then he goes again, and he's trying to be the first guy out to throw him the football. Really doesn't do a whole lot other than he gets caught up behind the tackle. And then, of course, you got a free hitter right here. They don't slide that direction where they would be hot with that guy getting out. And, of course, leads to bad things. Quarterbacks get sacked on this one. Florida State trying to be way too cute right here on a 4th and 3 against Miami. Miami bringing just a little bit of blitz playing cover 1. Not a bad call because you do have a guy wide open, but, of course, can't get to it because your protection is not sorted right. And number one option in the route gets basically knocked off his route by the offensive tackle. This is a look that kind of epitomizes all these sacks. And right here on this one, it's not really that the play was taking too long or anything, but it's just whiffs on one-on-ones. That's what happens on this one. Whether it was going to be the interior, looks like they overslid here. He's in that gap, and they just speed rush this guy because he's forcing him to back up. He gets the edge right there and runs right into him because he's not able to step up to it. But right there, this is kind of indicative of how all the sacks have been that we're looking at. I mean, it's just one-on-one misses as far as pass pro. So, again, if you're holding this ball for very long, there's always that chance of getting sacked if you don't get that first or second option really quickly. One thing that we did notice on the scrambles is that a lot of times if the quarterback can step up through and go vertical on these meshes, because, again, you see those guys crossing, those linebackers are chasing. A lot of times when they stepped up through and could go vertical, there's a lot of space to be had right there. So if they step through pressure on mesh, a lot of times you can create a big play like Cam Ward. Obviously, he's a freak. But, again, we saw it from a lot of different quarterbacks where, obviously, you're going through your progression, you step up in the pocket, and if you can break that first line, linebackers are chasing. Of course, if you had a middle linebacker there as well, he'd be back on that spot route. So you always have a chance to go vertical if the defense does not just force the pocket back into your face. And on this one, Cam Ward ends up scoring a touchdown on this scramble. There's no look of a quarterback going vertical in the pocket. Of course, watching the DN pass, a little bit of a twist here up front. And with those guys running across the field, you see the defenders chasing, no eyes on the quarterback. A lot of times right there, man-to-man, you say, hey, if they're not open, you're open. And that's what they do right here. Quarterback, big play here for Arkansas. Obviously getting their doors blown off by Ole Miss. But either way, right there, great look of it right here. Man-to-man. Progression's not there. You don't feel like you got enough space to get the thing vertical, which is what the quarterback does right there. It ends up creating an explosive play. A lot of information there, and still on the fence here about mesh. Obviously been a staple in a lot of great offenses, and people are using it all the time. But to me, to be a staple in your offense, I'd say this is a changeup. If you can't get to the first or second option and get the ball out a lot quicker and at a higher percentage, I would say this isn't quite the play that you'd hope it to be. Now, if you can call it and then throw the first or second read 70 to 80%, great. But if not, if you're having to hold on to it, get to number 3 to number 4, then you're not calling at the right time. And obviously at the right time, that'd be against man-to-man, where you can get rubs You can get guys wide open and create that space without having to push the ball vertically down the field. So to me, I think this is just a change-up. I wouldn't major in this, but of course, if you don't major in it, you're not going to get very good at it. But lots of teams have had tons of success with it. Everybody's using it all over the place. But for me, I'm probably going to use it very sparingly. I'm not going to put just a ton of time into it because I just don't think it's going to be called more than maybe 10, 15 times throughout the season. And really, from the clips that we have, those guys that have a lot more games, a lot more time in the game as well, aren't calling it that much either. So, love mesh. Great concept when it works and it's beautiful. But to me, I think it's a little bit overrated. Maybe it's just because you see a lot of teams working it in 7-on-7s and stuff, but really don't call it a ton during the season. But either way, appreciate you guys watching. If you like this one, click on this video right here. I think it's somewhere around here. Maybe it's down here. I don't really know. But click on that. That's what YouTube thinks you'll like. I'll see you guys again next video.